On the Fringe with Dan radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Major breaking news, I would call this. This is huge. I've got a great segment of her kind of talking about what's come out, what's happening, and yeah, the fact that this likely is going to lead towards criminal, well, not likely, looks like it's going to lead towards criminal prosecution. We've got a lot of things going on in the world. Epstein stuff, I've got a couple things. I'm even pulled in some Q posts just to kind of show some long-term, just to help some of our memories maybe. But a lot is going on right now, and things are not going well for the deep state, and Trump's ratings are going up and everything. It's like crazy what's happening right now. So again, it looks like we're doing very well, one would say, maybe. That said, got to share this moment.
Oh, no way.
That was an aircraft carrier, by the way, that boat just ran into. Yeah. It's the San Diego, the USS Midway. I've actually been on that a couple times. And just ran into an aircraft carrier.
I just got that on video. That's crazy.
You know you're an idiot when you run into an aircraft carrier. That's something's not right there. Especially when you're in the harbor. All sorts of things going on that are kind of weird. Trump pointing out something kind of cool, and I love Rumble. I own stock in Rumble, but what he called out I thought was pretty significant because I still think there's going to be some YouTube issues coming up in the future, and I think Rumble's going to just once again prove to be the place. We'll find out if it matters, but check this out.
Hello, thank you, Paolo. Ryan McInerney of Visa, that's a good company. Thank you. Chris Pavlovsky of Rumble. Chris, what happened to your location, Chris? You're always a front row guy. You're just being nice today, I think. How's Rumble doing? Good? Good. If Rumble's doing good, that means Truth is doing good. Truth. That's good. You're doing a great job. Thank you, Chris, very much.
Love the work he's doing over there, Chris. So, yes, just, again, Rumble. I know they played too many commercials. That was one of the things I think that we had issues with, too, with YouTube at one point. You got to find that sweet spot because you actually will lose viewership. And, again, a lot of you guys are watching on X. It's a great place to watch it. No ads, I don't believe, over there. So, yeah, all said, there's ways around it. And Rumble, I'd like to see you get smarter about things. All said, also, please make sure you subscribe and thumbs up and all that good stuff. It does help the algorithms and helps me get more friends. Especially if you're watching on X and YouTube and those kinds of places, that helps significantly. Nearly 24 have been injured as a car plowed into a crowd outside Los Angeles nightclub. Many are saying, and it's likely the case, that the individual lost consciousness. The only thing that's kind of strange is one of the individuals supposedly had a bullet wound. One patient had been shot. Car hurt everybody, and bad. I mean, well, a mixture. There's some critical. There's a lot of people that got injured. 20-plus patients, estimated 4 to 5 at least in critical, 8 to 10 serious, and 10 to 15 in fair condition. So, again, this is still early, but one of them had been shot. So that part seems weird, unless it just happenstance. I'd been shot anyways. I was just hanging out with these guys. I was going to go to the doctor later. It's like, huh? No. You get shot, you go now, right? Like, so how? Anyway, that's just strange to me, but maybe I had too much coffee this morning. Wild video shows cops beat down anti-ICE protesters after demonstration. They were blocking the Cincinnati Bridge. I don't think we've got the video. I was hoping it would be in here, but it wasn't. I was disappointed. Lots of pictures. But yeah, this big female thing was taken down. We had another individual that was arrested. This guy here, and they actually, dude, you can see him, this cop here, he's beating the hell out of him. At least in the video I did see. Right, and they finally arrested someone there on the grating, too. How hard's that? Oh, that's got to, and you can see through it. You're like, oh, I'm so scared. Don't like heights. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, you're not allowed to do that anymore, and you're certainly not allowed to attack cops. Pink-haired girl? No way. Tell me she doesn't have a septum ring. That'd be strange. Oh, my God, I'd be so shocked. Another individual, radical views of suspect in anti-ICE sniper ambush. This is the dude that shot the guy and hit him in the neck. Fortunately, he didn't kill anyone. But he had all sorts of stuff on social media. Benjamin Song, 32, was apprehended by the FBI Dallas field office on Tuesday following a manhunt that included a $25,000 reward for information leading to his arrest. Song is accused of shooting at federal officers. Well, Song is a former U.S. Marine Corps reservist. Apparently has a history of social media posts containing anti-police, anti-Israel, and anti-Trump rhetoric. Anyone surprised that the ones that are the most violent actually are the people on the left? Border Patrol agent shot in the face in a robbery by an illegal migrant in the New York City park, returns fire and wounds the attacker. He shot one of the dudes 3 times. The other guy seemed to have gotten away for now. The individual that got shot 3 times walked into a hospital to get treated and instantly had police officers showing up. This gentleman got hit in the face. He's undergoing surgery. He's most likely going to live, but he got shot in the face and still was like, the F you, dude, da, da, da. So crazy. And of course, it seemed that the individual was not illegal migrant. He's a Dominican national who's been in the country illegally since 2023. Of course. Now, again, this is one of those, feels like to me, like, don't let a tragedy go to waste. We do it on our side of the fence, too, it seems. D.C. police commander has been investigated for allegedly faking crime data. Uh-oh. DC's been trying to claim that crime's been coming down, but what's being called out here, and this is pretty sweet, it's confirmed that Michael Pulliam, he's a Washington, D.C. police commander, is under investigation for allegedly doctoring crime statistics. Basically changing things down a crime level so it doesn't look like as many felonies are happening, and they can make claims to how great D.C. is. Likely because they realize D.C.'s about to be taken over by Congress. It's a territory. It is not part of the United States. It doesn't need or deserve a mayor. That was kind of a funny thing they did a while back. So again, we'll see. But the truth is starting to come out, and the truth is what will set us free. That is for sure. I love healthy home, guys. I love having a healthy home, but I also like the way they say heal thy home, because that's really what these products are about. Small product line, but amazing results. Just fantastic how they work. Stem cells help your body heal. This causes your body to create more stem cells naturally by itself, 25 to 40% in a very short period of time from taking the medicine or pills, enhancements, or what do you call it? Like vitamin kind of thing, if you will. But if you've got any sort of issues, I had shoulder issues. Girlfriend had calcification. Both of us went away. Like, it's a trip. Especially my girlfriend. That one still trips me out. And I keep buying her some, and she's like, doesn't want to take it anymore. She loves the collagen. We've talked about that. So we'll see. Again, it's always experiments how it's playing out. But the stem cells help you heal. You got parts of your body that need healing, skin, muscles, like any of these things. Stem cells help tremendously, and they help. Like my pain went away in my shoulder, and just boom, right? And I wasn't doing the collagen stuff as much, so again, sometimes it's hard to tell. That's why you take a lot of good products and you just end up feeling better in general. But these are, again, supplements. They're just helping you. Balance is another one. I'm getting some great feedback on this one when ladies are going through the change. A lot of things are difficult, a lot of hormonal things going on in the body. This isn't putting any sort of synthetic hormones or any hormones at all. What it does is it causes, again, your body to produce its own proper balance of things. There's 14 potent plant-based ingredients. The people I'm hearing from are saying they're sleeping better, their temperature fluctuations are better, their moods are better, they're feeling better in general. One of them is very empathic, and they're feeling like they're actually able to sort of connect with people again. Like this was really causing a lot of commotion. This balance is making a huge difference. It's a transdermal lotion. You just rub it on your wrist, and you rub your wrists together. And I should probably have my camera on so you can at least see me doing that. There we go. Yeah, but the wrist, right? You just do that thing. And it's totally rubbing in and absorbs almost, within like a minute or two or whatever. It's pretty quick. It's a powerful product. Huge results. People raving about it. Highly recommend it. Amaze is just collagen. You got sagging skin, sore muscles, joint discomfort, lifeless hair, nails. Want to grow your fingernails. Collagen's the thing, and the peptide is the way to go. It's in a liquid form. Your body definitely sucks it up quick. It's very powerful. It tastes delicious. It's pretty fantastic. Prime is amazing how much energy it gives you. It actually expands your blood vessels and causes more oxygen to travel through. When you take it, you just have more energy. It's weird. I've talked to a few people that have taken it. You can't pin it, how it happened, when it happened. You've just noticed that I'm doing more and I'm not thinking about it. Like, it just gives you more energy is happening. That's all I can say. It's incredible. Tastes good. It's a powder. You do one a day, and man, within a minute or two, I'm like, oh yeah, we're doing this. Cool. Rock and roll. So yeah, Prime is super powerful. And then of course, Stem Active for pets. You got a pet, it's a chewable. It helps them get their stem cell count up. Maybe they've been through surgery. Maybe they've got hip dysplasia. They got some arthritis stuff going on. Stem cells matter and help. And you'll actually find they'll probably start being a little more dance in their step too. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Make sure you check out some of these incredible products and try at least one of them. Highly recommend you try a few, but try at least one of them, and you will be amazed like the rest of us. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. All right, we got some cool stuff on the Epstein here, the Russia Gate, I should say. And this is just, there's a lot that has been going on for a long time, and it's important that we sort of contextualize some of this. We're going to play some stuff just kind of going back just to fresh our minds up from back in the day, and where we are and how we've gotten where we are. And certainly General Flynn's part in this, but he's obviously feels very near and dear to this because his whole life got ruined because of that first Trump presidency. Not because of Trump's fault, but because of this Russiagate nonsense, right? So a lot of things happened. A lot of people snagged by this. It's made a lot of us stronger. But here's a good place to start.
Strzok and Lisa Page.
There will be no question about the outcome of this election.
And she got ahead of herself. This utterly stunned this campaign.
Head home. You should get some sleep. We'll have more to say tomorrow.
Our constitutional democracy enshrines the peaceful transfer of power.
The peaceful transition of power is one of the hallmarks of our democracy. We want to do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you succeed, then the country succeeds.
These declassified documents that were just released. Officials in the Obama administration were asking for the identities to be unmasked of Americans.
Unmasking of aides and staffers of the incoming president.
The basic charge, political spying.
To disrupt the peaceful transfer of power.
Unmasking of American citizens. It could be a real problem.
Why is it that the unmasking of Flynn somehow ended up in the pages of the Washington Post?
I know nothing about those moves to investigate Michael Flynn.
The vice president said that yesterday, and then the last name on this list is Joe Biden.
The Obama administration was bitter. They wanted to do everything they could to undermine the incoming Trump administration.
Really designed to sabotage and really upend the new administration.
An outgoing president and a vice president and a Washington Post columnist and the FBI setting up an incoming administration. Wow, that's a real conspiracy, and nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah, it is that big. It was that big. This is what we've come from. Jack Posobiec put this out, and I thought it was a really good point. And I've frequently talked about how Mike Pompeo is not part of the current administration. In fact, many can question whether or not the actual Mike Pompeo we see now is the original Mike Pompeo. It very much feels like the Joe Biden thing to a degree. Suddenly, a very different individual shows up. This guy's like way, way skinnier, significantly, and his face looks just very different to me. So, it's not even a good lookalike. So odds are the original Mike Pompeo might be some traitorous action. But yeah, why didn't CIA Director Mike Pompeo tell President Trump in January 2017 that Obama had ordered the PDB to be rewritten on Russia? Pompeo had access just weeks after this all took place. Pompeo could have handed this all to Trump. Why didn't he? Think about that. And he's not involved in this administration. Obviously, he's not worth keeping. This was a little flash from the past as well, not recent past here, and why we're pretty sure Brennan doesn't want Tulsi Gabbard where she's at because of what she might do.
Again, it's the President's Daily Brief, but also the role that the Director of National Intelligence, Director of CIA play in order to ensure that the people who have to make those decisions in National Security Council are fully informed about what the reality is, what the intelligence is, what our intelligence gaps are. And if they withhold things or if they skew things, it really is going to be detrimental to
Real quick before we let you go, Director, do those agency heads have, in that moment you're describing in that room, have that realization that, wait a minute, that's not what we told you? I mean, in other words, how does that coordination become undone when the person who's putting the final brief is skewed the information?
Well, I like to think that, Secretary of State Rubio, who is very familiar with the intelligence profession, is going to be speaking up, because you have the Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, the Attorney General, others who are going to be there. So you want to make sure, again, that you have people who are informed, but also people who want to know the truth.
Right.
And not just people who want to give President Trump what he wants to hear. That is so dangerous. And none of the 6 presidents that I work for ever wanted the intelligence community to give them what they wanted. They wanted the intelligence community to give them what they needed, and then they can make the appropriate policy decisions, taking into account what the intelligence says.
All right.
Yeah, God forbid I actually want the truth. Instead, I've got you feeding me a line that the CIA is trying to push right now because, again, the deep state. Now, Brennan obviously didn't want Tulsi Gabbard to be the director of national integrity, or intelligence, sorry. And, of course, he was concerned that she might skew the intelligence, right? Don't want to do that. Wouldn't want to make intelligence up, says Brennan. Let's hear Tulsi Gabbard talking about this. She did a great little segment with Maria Bartiromo. I'm going to play it at a 1.25 speed, but this is, well, it's pretty good, and it says a lot. And I even think the intro, too. Anyway, this is pretty good stuff. Check this out.
Collusion and conspiracy at the highest levels against President Trump. Now, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard revealing what this audience has known all along. A cabal of high-ranking officials led by then-President Barack Obama, CIA Director John Brennan, and Hillary Clinton, among others, took the world on a wild goose chase to try and take down their political enemy, Donald Trump, no matter the casualties along the way. DNA Tulsi Gabbard is now calling for prosecutions, revealing declassified documents from the Russia collusion made-up investigation, which she says detail a treasonous conspiracy by officials at the highest level of the Obama White House to stop incoming President Donald Trump. The cabal included Barack Obama, John Brennan, James Clapper, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Jim Comey, and Susan Rice, who pushed a made-up story that President Trump colluded with Russia to win the 2016 election, so the cabal would not lose their grip on power. All of this exactly as then Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes, Judiciary Committee member John Ratcliffe, and President Trump himself told us so many times from day one.
What that is it's the original intelligence, the original reasons that the counterintelligence investigation was started. Now, this is really important to us because a counterintelligence investigation uses the tools of our intelligence services that are not supposed to be used on American citizens. So we've long wanted to know, well, what intelligence did you have that actually led to this investigation? So what we found now, after the investigators had reviewed it, is that, in fact, there was no intelligence.
As a former federal prosecutor, my opinion is that declassifying them would not expose any national security information, would not expose any sources and methods. It would expose certain folks at the Obama Justice Department and FBI and their actions taken to conceal material facts from the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court.
How involved was John Brennan?
Totally involved. He was totally involved. John Brennan was one of the architects, in my opinion. You look at Brennan, you look at Clapper, you look at them all. But ultimately, the president knew everything. The president knew everything. President Obama and Vice President Biden, they knew everything.
And Comey and Brennan and Clapper, they all were terrible, and they lied to Congress. They spied on my campaign, which is treason. They spied both before and after I won.
Joining me now is the woman herself, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Director, thanks very much for being here this morning.
Good morning, Maria. Thank you.
What was the most damning thing that you learned after looking through all of these declassified documents?
Maria, the implications of this are frankly nothing short of historic. Over 100 documents that we released on Friday really detail and provide evidence of how this treasonous conspiracy was directed by President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave office, after President Trump had already gotten elected. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue that is so serious it should concern every single American because it has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic. What we saw occur here, as the documents we released detailed, was that we had a sitting president of the United States and his cabinet and leadership team, quite frankly, who were not happy with the fact that President Trump had won the election, that the American people had chosen Donald J. Trump to be the next president commander-in-chief of the United States. And so they decided that they would do everything possible to try to undermine his ability to do what voters tasked President Trump to do. So creating this piece of manufactured intelligence that claims that Russia had helped Donald Trump get elected contradicted every other assessment that had been made previously in the months leading up to the election that said exactly the opposite, that Russia had neither the intent nor the capability to try to, quote unquote, hack the United States election for the presidency of the United States. So the effect of what President Obama and his senior national security team did was subvert the will of the American people, undermining our democratic republic and enacting what would be essentially a years-long coup against President Trump, who was duly elected by the American people.
Yeah. I want to go back to something Devin Nunes said, which is exactly what you're saying right now. And he said, after all of our investigation, we found that there was no intelligence. There was no intelligence actually indicating that Trump colluded with Russia. And what happened? Because there was a presidential daily briefing that was presented to President Obama every day. And every day it said the same thing. We have no evidence of collusion. We have no evidence that Russia did this with Donald Trump. So what happened? How did they actually get the public to believe, and half the public believed, that actually Trump did collude?
Well, this is the thing, Maria, when you look at the assessments that were made, not just by one element of the intelligence community, but in my role as the Director of National Intelligence, I oversee 18 different intelligence community elements. And in the months leading up to the November 2016 election, the intelligence community agreed that there was no intelligence that reflected that Russia was trying to hack the election in favor of either candidate. The evidence showed, the intelligence showed that, again, Russia did not have either the intent nor the capability to be able to impact the outcome of the United States election. So it was very striking when we look back again at the documents that I declassified and released that shows there was a shift in early December, the first week of December. Again, another document was produced by the intelligence community, a president's daily brief that was consistent with every other assessment that was done previously leading up to the election. Russia did not, this is after the election now, did not attempt to affect the outcome of the American election. That was never published. Hours before it would have gone into President Obama's President's Daily Brief, it was pulled by a senior level intelligence official saying that they had to pull it because they had received new guidance. The very next day, this meeting was called, a National Security Council meeting, bring together all of the senior leaders of President Obama's cabinet, and the topic that was put forward was a sensitive matter. The tasks that came out of that meeting was coming from President Obama directing the intelligence community, then Obama's ODNI director Clapper, to produce a document, to produce an intelligence assessment that detailed not if, but how Moscow affected the outcome of the election that had already occurred, electing Donald Trump to the presidency. This document that they published in January of 2017 was the foundational groundwork that they continued to reference over and over and over again to enact this years-long coup against President Trump.
Now, I know that Devin Nunes came out with the Nunes report and a lot of other reports after that to indicate everything that you're saying. And I guess the worst of the reports, the real evidence, is the reports of most recent, right? The last reports are the worst reports that we're going to see. And I understand that there is more, perhaps, that you are going to come out with next week. And I was told that that's why they raided Mar-a-Lago, that they wanted to find the Trump-Russia documents that indicated there was absolutely no collusion and that there was no evidence to even start such an investigation. But Trump didn't have it there in Mar-a-Lago, but that's why they raided his house in 2022. Is that correct?
I don't have the details on the specifics of the Mar-a-Lago raid itself. Those are within the possession of the FBI. But there's no question in my mind that this intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered be published, which contained a manufactured intelligence document. It's worse than even politicization of intelligence. It was manufactured intelligence that sought to achieve President Obama and his team's objective, which was undermining President Trump's presidency and subverting the will of the American people. So yes, next week we will be releasing more detailed information about how exactly this took place and the extent to which this information was sought to be hidden from the American people, hidden from officials who would be in a position to do something about it. And that's really the point here that I think is most important, Maria, and you said it in your opening. Accountability is essential for the future of our country, for the American people to have any sense of trust in the integrity of our democratic republic. Accountability, action, prosecution, indictments for those who are responsible for trying to steal our democracy is essential for us to make sure that this never happens to our country again.
Yeah, and I want to get to that right now because I've heard talk of a criminal referral. Are you referring this in a criminal matter?
We are referring all of the documents that we have uncovered to the Department of Justice and the FBI for a criminal referral.
Yeah. And do you believe that we will see prosecutions? I mean, our audience wants to know where this story goes from here. Will we ever see anyone held accountable for this incredible lie on the American people?
I will do all that I can, and we have whistleblowers, actually, Maria, coming forward now after we release these documents, because there are people who were around, who were working within the intelligence community at this time, who were so disgusted by what happened. We're starting to see some of them come out of the woodwork here because they, too, like you and I and the American people, want to see justice delivered. So we're going to provide everything that we have, everything that we will continue to gather to the Department of Justice for that direct intent and that direct purpose. There must be indictments, those responsible, no matter how powerful they are and were at that time, no matter who was involved in creating this treasonous conspiracy against the American people, they all must be held accountable.
So do you expect, just to be clear, do you expect indictments and prosecutions?
I'm not a lawyer. In my view, we have the evidence to be able to move forward and bring about justice, yes, to prosecute and indict those responsible.
And I want to really put a spotlight on who's responsible, because we've talked about the highest levels, Barack Obama, John Brennan, James Clapper, but we also have to look at things like, you just found all of this. Why didn't Durham find it? Why didn't Mueller find it? Okay, what about the FISA judges? Because when you look at this seditious conspiracy aimed at overthrowing the U.S. government and an elected president, you have to consider also the black robes. You've got to look at the FISA judges. And how about the fact that the judge who gave a slap on the wrist to Kevin Kleinsmith, who was the FBI agent who lied on an official document about Carter Page, who was spied on for a year, that judge is Judge James Boasberg. He's still at his desk, and he's still trying to stop Donald Trump's agenda. So what about the broader group of people that are also involved?
Maria, this is of such historic consequence that it cannot be limited to one or two or three different people. You just outlined the implications and the effects of what actually occurred, and I think you're really putting into a clear picture what we are referring to when we refer to the deep state. It is very far-reaching. These are people who are intent on undermining the will of the American people and trying to ultimately put themselves above our democracy. And this is why it's so important that we continue down this path. We continue to stay very focused. I question the same things that you're asking here. I don't know how it is. Yes, I put my team on this. We've been working on this over the last few months. I've been in this role as Director of National Intelligence for just about 6 months. I don't know what excuse there is for those who supposedly investigated this previously, whether it was Durham or others, that they were not able to put together the dots and ultimately show the truth to the American people. President Trump has delivered a maximum transparency mandate, and this is exactly what we're doing. The American people need to see the truth, and we're going to continue to do that every single day that I'm here.
Equally outrageous was the fact that we had the handwritten notes of John Brennan. I reported on it at the time. The CIA reported to President Obama that the Russians were aware that Hillary Clinton had come up with this idea to blame the Russians and working with Trump to win the election. And we actually saw his handwritten notes. So there's that evidence that, again, all of those people who were supposedly special counsels, independent counsels, blew off, right? Robert Mueller, John Durham.
That's right. I really cannot fathom. There is no rational or logical explanation for why they failed. The only logical conclusion that I can draw in this, Maria, is what you're implying here directly, is that there was direct intent to cover up the truth about what occurred and who is responsible and the broad network of how this seditious conspiracy was concocted and who exactly was responsible for carrying it out.
So at the end of the day, we need to look at Pam Bondi. Is that the person who at the end of the day is going to bring us accountability? Pam Bondi?
Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, it is their responsibility to gather all of the evidence, both that we have released, the facts that have already been known previously, the information that will continue to come out, and move forward with this prosecution and these indictments.
All right.
And why is the Epstein thing happening right now? Just wondering, right? It all makes sense. I call it information chaff. It's exactly what the Epstein thing is right now. It's chaff. We threw out this big blah of information, get people thinking about something specific, put out a fake note, and look what happens. Now, again, I don't think we've lost focus. I think you still got to deal with the fact that there's a gnat floating in your face, right? And swat it away every once in a while, but ultimately you're still focused on what's going on. And I think a lot of us, held through this. I definitely think, hopefully you all paid attention to some of the people that outed themselves. These are people that you've got to understand are not working in our favor. Sometimes it's clickbait. Sometimes it's just they don't know they're doing bad. Sometimes they're intentionally doing bad. Like, you figure it out. I don't know. It's hard. I have a hard time with that one. I try to see the good in everybody, right? Craziness, I say. So again, Epstein's happening. We've got D&I Gabbard talking. This is details coming next week. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm not going to play that. That's cool. We already got that covered. Played the long version of it. Donald Trump truthed out two things, though, that tie into this. First, we had in President Obama and his leadership team people who did not want to accept the will of the American people in electing Donald Trump in 2016, and therefore cooked up this treasonous conspiracy to effectively launch a years-long coup against the sitting president of the United States. And then he truthed, this was yesterday, the 19th, great job by young and talented Harrison Fields on Fox News. The panel was fantastic on prosecuting Obama and the thugs who have just been unequivocally exposed on the highest level election fraud. Congratulations to Tulsi Gabbard. Keep it coming. Again, they've tried to put division. They attacked Tulsi Gabbard not long ago. Remember when they started putting rumors out that she was going to quit or he was going to fire her and separate them, right? We've heard this about Pete Hegseth over the what's the Signal app or whatever, right? Like, there's just been this constant attacking of his cabinet with bullshit Axios stories, in most cases anyways. Ezra Cohen posted this. Interesting to see terrorist sympathizer Mahar Bittar's name on the participants list of this NSC meeting where the Russian hoax conspirators hatched their plan. Shortly after this PC, Bittar would leave the executive branch to go work for HPSCI for disgraced former Congressman Schiff. Remember, he was the one that had Sia what's-his-face? Schiff, remember that? Just saying. It would appear that through Bittar, Obama was able to continue, after his term ended, his illegal attempts to take down real President Donald Trump. It's down here, Usan Maher Bittar. Julie Kelly posted this. Remember earlier this month when D&I Gabbard accused Washington Post reporter Ellen Nakashima of harassing ODNI staff and even stalking her family in Hawaii. And then Washington Post editors swooped to Nakashima's defense, describing her as one of the most careful, fair-minded, and highly regarded reporters covering national security. Guess who co-authored the December 9th, 2016 Washington Post article Gabbard cited in her report today that was the product of a leak of false intelligence related to Russian election interference? Yep. That same Nakashima. Goes all the way back. And whoever's in it, the deep state, right? Whether it's the deep state CIA, however it happens, doesn't matter, right? Like, a lot of people want to put a name on it in some weird way. Whatever the hell it is. Deep state's easier because it seems to blend. We got judges, we got CIA people, we got them all over the place. And maybe these judges are CIA, who knows? Biden's AG and White House conspired to chill local parents' school board protests. We also got this that's coming out. It's just sort of related in how they're horrible. damning revelations, right? Federal documents obtained by a conservative watchdog group show the Biden administration's Justice Department sought a federal hook so they could investigate and criminally charge parents protesting school policies related to COVID and the transgender and the race theory and all that crap, right? So anybody that questioned that, they had a hook. They instantly already were going to come after you. They built this into their procedures. They were pissed off with any of us that were like basically speaking the truth, frankly. So yeah, we have a conspiracy that's huge. Department of Justice files a motion to unseal the grand jury testimonies in the Epstein case. Here's the thing. A judge has to approve this. Nobody else can. Pam Bondi can't, and Kash Patel can't, okay? This has to come from a judge. So if for some reason these grand jury files don't get released, don't go freaking out on Pam Bondi and everything, because it's going to happen probably. That's the next thing that's going to crack me up. But they don't want that testimony to get out. And I think that's why Trump is like swatting back in that direction. He's like, all right, release that stuff. Let's go ahead and get that out there, because that's got a whole bunch of damning stuff towards people that are currently pointing fingers at Trump. They want Trump to release stuff that's specifically that they've messed with. The stuff that Comey's daughter was screwing with. What was her name? Audrey or whatever the hell her name was? She was doctoring probably stuff in there. They know it. They know SDNY is dirty as hell. They know there's the Wiener laptop, all the Hillary stuff, the server, all that stuff, Southern District of New York. All of it. Epstein, that little fuzzy-haired kid that had the crypto company he was ripping off, whoever the Sam Bankman-Fried guy, he was there as well. So they've filed. We'll see. Trump says left lunatics won't be satisfied with Epstein grand jury testimony. Probably true. We'll see. But he had a post in here. He says, I have asked the Justice Department to release all the grand jury testimony with respect to Jeffrey Epstein, subject only to court approval. With that being said, and even if the court gives its full and unwavering approval, nothing will be good enough for the troublemakers and radical left lunatics making the request. I'm telling you, troublemakers is a strong word. Strong word. He doesn't want their support anymore. Remember, he fired their asses. Trump strikes back, though. Libel lawsuit filed over the bogus Epstein smear. It was for like, what, $10 to $15 billion? Quite a chunk of money. $10 billion. Yeah, federal court in Florida. Everybody's trying to act like, everybody on the deep state side of things was trying to act like Trump's got no case. Oh, he sure as hell does. You can't just say stuff that's made up and have no sources to verify or back it up. And so, yeah, let's go ahead and have some fun there, because that is illegal. You're smearing someone's reputation to a huge extent as well. All right, so there's a bunch of Q stuff. I don't know if I want to go through all of it. We're long enough in this as it is. But I will start at the bottom. Epstein Island. What is a cult, right? Satan. Right? They tie Epstein into really the child pedophilia, the sex trafficking, the rape, all the stuff that he actually got busted for. Right? But they're talking about closing in the tunnels once he got caught. So that was one thing. He filled in concrete in all those tunnels. They never went there, got there, because obviously Deep State was involved with slowing that down. So he filled everything in with concrete. So for a lot of you guys who are like, but the tunnels and all the information, if he filled them in with concrete, there's nothing there to see. Nothing. So again, this evidence everyone claims we have, I don't think the Deep State was stupid enough to leave too much of that evidence around. Photographs, sure. There's, of course, Clinton on Epstein's plane. This chick Chandler is pulled up all over the place. She was obviously a huge part of it. Is she the one that, isn't it her that, was it her that died, committed suicide in Australia? Is it the other chick? Whatever the case is, the suicides are always funny. Okay, Epstein, quote, committed suicide, though he was probably killed, I believe. Whether he's alive or not, you guys can all talk about. It's fine. They talk about how why would you have this crazy thing on top, right? And they get into the sex trafficking. Again, that's one of the things that keeps coming up over and over. The handler of the many connected to Epstein. Now, they do talk about the flight logs reveal many hidden artifacts. I think this is as close to what a lot of people are saying is like the Epstein files or the Epstein list or the, like, I don't know. But we see a lot of stuff like this, right? The pictures of these guys. There was also, this is where they brought up anyway, the lawyer that took this picture. Many assume that was Dershowitz. Who knows? Maybe it was a different lawyer. I don't know if Dershowitz has been smart enough to try to hint that there might have been another lawyer. Maybe it was him, though. So there's all those tie-ins. There's a lot more of this Balenciaga and all the again, Lex Wexner and all that stuff, right? Rachel Chandler and the possible Epstein Island security cam pic on Instagram. Now, I saw this same picture, I want to say, used to show what the tunnels look like underneath the Kennedy Center, too. So I don't know if they're just reusing this and they were lying on that article, or if this is a camera we don't know from where. Probably a deep state thing. But maybe it's Epstein Island. Maybe it's under the Kennedy Center. Maybe it's under the White House. Maybe it's under Hugh Hefner's house. Maybe it's under Diddy's house. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to say we shouldn't be sure about where that's from. I don't know if we know for sure. That's a big leap, right? So again, Sessions began the Epstein investigation. What is revealed? Who doubted may see the light. The wheels of justice turn slow, but when they turn, they are powerful. So we're seeing the grinding happening right now, right? A lot of this stuff is coming to the surface. We're getting the worst parts of it first. The deep state component that's been controlling things within our own government is being eradicated and now publicly shown, which is far more important than this next step where we, clear out all this kind of crap. There's way more of it too. So yeah, Jeffrey Epstein's a placeholder. Expect dozens more charges near future. There was another good post in here. This one. You didn't think that the Epstein investigation began a few months ago, did you? It was all under the direction and oversight of AG Jeff Sessions. Expect a lot more to become public unsealing. Now, again, unsealing, a lot of us, I think, read into many of these comments. I still think these comments, in some cases, hold true. Some of them don't, right? Let's see. Where's some other ones? Welcome to the Epstein Island. Ask yourself, is this normal? What does a temple typically symbolize? What does an owl symbolize? Dark religion. Tunnels underneath. How many channels captured on the RC's pic? Rooms indicate size. Hallways shown. Again, this is the one that makes us think that was actually from under Epstein Island. Again, we don't know. Could be true. Might be. Don't know for sure. Symbolism will be their downfall, unquestionably. That's been helpful as all get-go. Let's see. Epstein arrested. What city was he arrested in? Which was New York, 5x5. That gets him in Southern District, by the way. That was intentional. Looking back on all this, right? Ghislaine Maxwell, Follow the Family, UK, US, 1 and 2, Umbrella, right? So they all had us looking at her dad. Does that, she's really the worst one. Think about it. She probably brought Epstein in. She was the one that was helping with the trafficking of the girls. Maybe Ghislaine is actually the more nefarious one, and so many of us assume it was Epstein, but he was not important. Maybe why he got offed. They didn't care. They're like, nah, we got Ghislaine. How do they eliminate a liability? Where is Epstein being held? Reconciled? Do you believe in coincidences? Powerful people connected. Panic. Yeah, he got killed. He got suicided, like others have. It's common for them to do that, is to suicide people. It makes it more of a statement to others. This is what's going to happen to you. And again, a lot of these guys signed deals and contracts and have made money off all this. So again, the Epstein stuff has been it's been a lot coming. So we'll see. I don't know. The Q files didn't get us too far off into the weeds, but certainly a little. We got the chairman of 3 House committees, the Administration, Judiciary, and Oversight and Government Reform, emailed Aaron Ting, ActBlue's former Associate General Counsel for Product and Privacy, requesting a transcribed interview. They stated he may possess information vital to our oversight in their probe of the Democrat-favored online donation platform. The investigation examines whether ActBlue allowed bad actors, including foreign actors, to exploit the company's online platform to make fraudulent political donations. The chairman noted fraudulent political donations corrupt American elections and could amount to interstate criminal conduct. For some reason, that's hard for me to say. So that's interesting. RFK Jr. and Rubio, they come together on this whole World Health Organization pandemic power grab. I don't know if Rubio was supposed to have said something, or it's kind of weird that they were originally, I just heard about RFK Jr. talking about this. But Rubio's like, yeah, me too. We shouldn't be a part of this WHO stuff. And they'd take over control and blah, blah, blah. Maybe they're just trying to add credibility to it. Whatever. He also joined the, hell no, we're not joining that, which is pretty sweet. Right? Rubio revokes visas of Brazilian judge and any of his allies, his family, any of that stuff. President Trump made clear his administration will hold accountable foreign nationals who are responsible for censorship of protected expression in the United States. Rubio wrote, he continued, Brazilian Supreme Federal Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes' political witch hunt against Jair Bolsonaro created a persecution and censorship complex so sweeping that it not only violates basic rights of Brazilians, but also extends beyond Brazil's shores to target Americans. I have therefore ordered visa revocations for Moraes and his allies on the court, as well as their immediate family members, effective immediately. No more traveling to America for any of you schmucks. Awesomeness. Love it. Governor California Newsom. Governor Newsom. He's got a tough path, and they're already destroying him, and I think it's fantastic, or we're already destroying him, whichever. But nobody's really happy with how he's doing here in the United States, and in fact, or here in California. A funny misspeak. But he thinks he wants to continue to destroy the country like he has the state. We've got the now officially highest unemployment rate. Woohoo! Yay! Right? Clap, cheers. Yeah, so that's good job, Gavin Newsom. Is Gavin Newsom going to ditch his woke and move center? Some people are wondering if that's what's going to happen. But this isn't just about booking podcast guests, because that's his new trendy thing, right? But in another instance, Newsom criticized the inclusion of biological males in women's sports. Wait, what? How he's going against their transgender thing. He was talking to Charlie Kirk that their inclusion was deeply unfair. The comment was a stark departure from his earlier record as a vocal supporter of expansive transgender rights. Progressive critics immediately pounced, accusing him of pandering to the right. The backlash highlighted the tightrope Newsom is now walking, trying to appeal to moderate voters without alienating his liberal base. Now, the important part is this is really the component of the left, the Democrats, that is violent. Most normal liberal people are not violent. They're much like you and I, right? Like chill, maybe get pissed off, maybe just totally disagree with each other, but not generally violent. But the extremes on both sides of the fence, but certainly on the side of the progressive, especially people that are transgender, especially people that are under hormone replacement and stuff. There's a lot of things when you're in hormone situations, like you're not all like chill, kind of a little unstable maybe. So we've got some of that type of stuff going on. And yeah, this is the group that's going to ultimately attack their own party. The snake's tail, or snake eating the tail, basically. So it's this is going to be, it's part of what we're going to go through. I mean, I don't know whether it's entertaining or not. We'll see how it plays out. Hopefully it's as calm as it needs to be and as or bad as it has to be and whatever. California legislation is going to fine stores. This is so effed up to me. They're going to fine stores for theft of their shopping carts. So here, let me just put this in like I'm a H-E-B, or I'm a Ralph's, or I'm a Kroger, or I'm a whatever. And I have shopping carts that you use when you shop. If a homeless person steals one of those and takes it, the grocery store is now going to be fined to have it returned. Like that, like it's their faults. They're going to get charged up to $650 for returning shopping carts stolen. Now, maybe they want this because they cost more than $1,000 to buy each, by the way. Maybe that's part of it, but I'm sure, anyway, that's just like insanity. Senate Bill 753. This is kind of stupid-ass stuff we do here in California. This is up in San Jose, I know. Up in San Jose. San Jose Mayor Mahan has a homeless problem. And so, yeah, people keep stealing these carts. And so now she wants to charge the store money Allow the cities to charge businesses up to $650 for returning shopping carts. That's just insane. Like, that's almost... Anyway, nah, I'm over it. In-N-Out Burger Harris is planning to move the family out. Harris, I think is probably how I should have said that, but needless to say, there's an H in there. They say herbs, so what the hell? HQ, she's moving her HQ for In-N-Out out of California. Good job, Gavin Newsom. In-N-Out, something that is like known to be California. Like when I go to California, I want to go to In-N-Out Burger. It's not really that good though. Anyway, she's moving it out. I mean, they're better than most. Don't get me wrong, but there's better burger places. Please, please. Don't go there thinking this is like the best burger you're ever going to eat. It's a really good fast food burger. I'll give you that. All said. Yeah, she's going to move. She doesn't want to grow her family here. Leaving California for Tennessee. Raising a family is not easy here, and told me doing business is not that easy here. So, yeah, good job, California. Keep it up. You are just doing a bang-up job there, Mr. Newsom. The Wellness Company, or TWC, but The Wellness Company. Again, this thing, I'm loving it. Man, the thing is totally getting smaller still. Yeah, it's just so cool. I am noticing differences in my body, the way I feel, a lot of things. I don't want to get too graphic, but some stuff's dying inside of me for sure. I think I'm not even quite 2 weeks, week and a half-ish, and I am loving the parasite cleanse. It is ridiculous. So the ivermectin mebendazole, you can find it a couple ways actually. What's the easy way? Bestsellers, ivermectin mebendazole is really the best way to find them under bestsellers. Otherwise, you're going to shop and you're going to look for maybe Clean Detox, whatever. Oh, over here probably. Ivermectin mebendazole. So they've stopped even calling it parasite cleanse. I wonder if there's reasons for that. And they still have it here, but it is what it is. That's certainly what it's doing. It's powerful. They've got the best sellers. I do recommend the kits, the emergency kit, Contagion specifically. That's the ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, antiviral. Basically, it's got all sorts of good stuff in there. You should check that out for sure. You should have at least one in case something crazy happens. If for some reason you rolled up your sleeve, the Ultimate Spike Detox is like almost a guarantee. You definitely want to do that. And then they've got the methylene blue for recharging. They've got weight control. They've got all sorts of really cool stuff here. Heart issues. They got really, really good supplements. This is by doctors. They know what they're doing. They're doing it in a healthy way, and they're trying to help you. And like I said, with the supplements, most of them are actually reasonably priced. And what you're getting on this, by the way, it's a 90-day supply. So many would say, that's ridiculous. It's not, actually. You're getting a huge dosage of ivermectin and a huge dosage of mebendazole. One pill, there's 90 of them. It's actually a sweet deal, is really what it is. Go to twc.health/OTF, twc.health/OTF. Check out the shop tab, all sorts of good stuff in here, and you will be amazed on this mebendazole ivermectin combination. It is, yeah, it's tripping me out in many, many, many ways. Yeah, go to twc.health/OTF. Healthy choices, healthy life, healthy living. Got to do it. 70 people in Minnesota are accused in a coronavirus pandemic fraud scheme involving federal money and food for children. So children should have been getting this money, for food and stuff. Instead, it was being stolen. Gotta love that. FBI Director Kash Patel is all over this. Stealing $250 million from hungry kids to buy mansions and luxury cars is as shameless as it gets. Proud of our FBI and the FBI Minneapolis for exposing one of the worst frauds in Minnesota history and holding dozens accountable. Bam. Bam, I say. So good. We're making progress, folks. I'm telling you. Hegseth resigns the first female Naval Academy head. I'm sure DEI, but Navy Vice Admiral Yvette Davids, the first female to serve as superintendent of the U.S. Naval Academy, is being reassigned. Not kicked out or anything. But she's going somewhere else. Marine Corps Lieutenant General Michael J. Borgschult is named to lead the Naval Academy in her place. It's interesting. This will be the first time ever that a Marine has been in charge of this Naval Academy group, which is, I'm wondering if that's another, like the planting of the flags in front of the, the White House, right? Like the conquering, if you will. That kind of feels a little bit like we just conquered the Navy Academy to a degree, and used the Marines to do it, which will always go down in history as a bit of a clash on some of them. Hegseth's senior staffer is also out. Justin Fulcher, he was the senior staffer. He was part of the Doge group, served out 6 months. This is happening in an interesting way because Fulcher's departure seemed like Fulcher didn't really know it was coming. Like they moved his desk just prior to him being fired. And he's like, nah, it's just because of some maintenance that they had me move. And still, then they got rid of him. Like, so I don't know. And his office, by the way, used to be right outside of Pete Hegseth's office. And one can only wonder what kind of stuff he was maybe hearing. And we've heard about some of these leaks that have been happening. Makes you wonder if Fulcher might have been a leaker. Some of the Doge people, maybe not so good. This could have been part of the problem, too, that we had for, and this is where it says that Department of Government, that's where he previously worked. So you know, I'm not making it up. But yeah, this is maybe where some of these leaks are going to get fixed, and some of the fights with Musk, like maybe some of the people around him weren't quite vetted as well, and he probably claimed they were better vetted than they were. And anyway, there's some of this stuff. I've had a lot of people that try to vouch for certain people, and I find that to be a silly thing. You should be careful who you vouch for, because you don't really know everybody how they are, right? Like you're putting a lot on the line. You're putting your whole neck on the line for somebody you barely know. Should be like, I think they're a pretty good person. I've never had a bad experience. Don't know, you know. Federal government slashed by over 22,000 jobs across D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. You think about how that affects the tax base in those areas, by the way, which is kind of an interesting thing. It couldn't happen to a worse group of states. So fantastic. But 22,000 jobs cut. That's going to save us some money in the big picture. Biden judge, he rules Trump's dismissal of the FTC Democrats is unconstitutional. They have to have cause based off of some Supreme Court decision. Whatever the case is, they were going against his wishes. This judge, U.S. District Court Judge Lauren Ali Khan, I think she's been involved in some of these crazy things. She's telling him that he has to hire them back, period. And I don't believe she's allowed to do it. It's being appealed, so we'll see what happens. But Trump's not going to hire him back. He's going to wait for the appeal. So whatever the judge is like, you have to. And she's like, no, you can't make me do that, by the way. No, I don't have to. Trump urges Thune to cancel August congressional recess to confirm his nominees. He's trying to keep Senate basically from going on recess and get some shit done, because we need people in office. And you guys are all about it took forever to get the stupid vote passed. And now you guys want to go and take a vacation? Hell no, you got some work to do. Get your asses to work. You got a bunch of people that you need to get confirmed. So yeah, start working on it, getting some judges in there especially. So I'm sure Trump's got a laundry list of people. There's still people in the cabinet, or at least his the big, what is there, like 150 people they appoint or something? It's like a pretty big number. The 5 Senate seats most likely to flip, in case you're curious. North Carolina, because of Tillis, he's decided he's going to retire. That's why he's being a total dick at every freaking single chance he gets. Georgia, they're wondering who's going to run against Ossoff. John Ossoff is going to be going back up for election, or stepping down. What's he doing? GOP still in throes trying to figure out who will take on. Yeah, take on. So we'll see how they do. We also know, they got some ideas of who they want, but I don't care. Senator Susan Collins is, she's a big time question. There, I saw a stupid report said that, Republicans of Maine still like Collins. Whatever. We'll see. There's a lot of, they're like pretty blue in their thinking, it seems like. I don't know how much of Maine is actually red capable, for that matter. Tejas is trying to get rid of John Cornyn. Got to get rid of that bastard. Ken Paxton's running against him, and he's kicking his ass numbers-wise, so that's cool. Democrat Senator Gary Peters is retiring in Michigan, so many people are wondering who's going to go up against him. So these are some of the key places that we've got coming up. Now, again, if we took all 5, that'd be significant, right? That'd up our numbers for at least 4, right? I think one of those was Republican. Maybe 2. Oh, Cornyn's 1. Who's the other? Anyway, whatever. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maha wins. It's just kind of funny. I'm kind of almost like laughing a little bit that a lot of the stuff I'm seeing that's celebrating Maha right now when it comes to the artificial colors and shit like that is Pepsi and Coke. Yeah, two things that arguably have gotten less bad for you, but still are nowhere near good for you in any way, shape, or form. Cane sugar cola is gonna be better, but I bet if you still pour it on your battery and it strips off the everything on the terminal, if it's still doing that, which I'm sure it will, it's not good for you. But at least they're getting rid of the bad stuff in it, and so again, it's a victory. There's a lot of people out there doing it. The other one too was Lay's. Is going to remove their artificial dyes. Again, going to make them less bad for you. They've still got hydrogenated oils that are horrible. Again, there's just a lot of nasty stuff inside chips. They're delicious. I open one of those, I'll eat the whole damn bag, and then I'll wonder why I feel weird. But it is freaking yummy. We've got, of course, a complaint going on. Texas Attorney General Paxton probes Mars for sticking with the artificial colors in U.S. candies. How come you guys are keeping them, but everyone else is getting rid of them? And again, he's talking about M&Ms and stuff, Mars candy. Oh well, hopefully we'll get there. Delta Boeing 767's engine burst into flames after takeoff from an LAX airport. It is weird how much Boeing's being attacked. Now understand, Boeing is the company making the F-47. I've been seeing some very interesting stuff around that aircraft of late. And so there might be something to do with that, trying to hurt Boeing. But these are the engines, by the way, folks. It's not Boeing's fault when an engine goes. Engines are made by, Rolls-Royce and General Electric, generally speaking, are the only two, I think, that we do on a lot of our American aircraft. So it's one of the two. And, it's not Boeing. Boeing doesn't build engines. And they're also not the ones that are servicing. The airline is who services the plane once they buy it, right? So a lot of this is meant to make Boeing look bad, and ultimately is kind of strange. But yeah, so this thing was burning. It was flying with fire coming out of it, which is very strange. Like, looks like a fuel injector broke or something strange, right? Like, I don't know. It's dumping raw fuel that's just burning, but it doesn't look like the engine was actually burning. And they said once it landed, it wasn't on fire. Like, it pulled up to the terminal, and they obviously, everybody got off the plane. There's no way you're flying anywhere with a flame engine there, but yeah, everything worked out okay as it played out. I haven't actually looked at the markets. Oh, it's future still. Duh. That's why. I'm like, they're not moving. So yeah, gold's down a little bit. Silver, crude, all that good stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It looks pretty flat. They got nothing to be freaked out about yet, or maybe that's coming with the releases of information. We'll find out. Of course, I don't know if you're in a 401k or an IRA. I highly recommend you get the heck out. Protect your wealth. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. U.S. orders new restrictions on flights from Mexico amid aviation dispute. This is, I don't know, it was interesting to me anyways. This is, so Department of Transportation imposed new restrictions on flight operations from Mexico to the United States on July 19th in response to flight restrictions Mexico previously levied against the United States. Under the new restrictions, Mexico will have to file schedules with the Transportation Department for all U.S. operations and obtain department approval to operate large passenger or cargo charter flights between Mexico and the United States. Shutting down the cartel's ability to fly too right now, which is what I think this is mostly, but they're hiding it under this verbiage. But in a Saturday statement, the U.S. Transportation Department said Mexico since 2022 has not been in compliance with the air transport agreement enacted between the two countries in 2015. Specifically, the department said Mexico had rescinded flight slots for 3 American, Delta, and United flights through the Benito Juarez International Airport and ordered U.S. cargo flights to relocate their operations. Mexico claimed it was to allow for construction to alleviate congestion at Benito Juarez, but yet 3 years later, still no construction. By restricting slots and mandating that all cargo operations move out of Mexico, Mexico has broken its promise, disrupted the market, and left American businesses holding the bag for millions in increased costs. Yeah, whatever this is about, it sounds like cartels can't fly into the United States willy-nilly anymore. That's for sure. That's one thing that I guarantee came out of that. Putin wanted to bring Ukraine war to a peaceful conclusion, but Russia must achieve goals, the spokesman says. Yeah, they got to denazify, get out the weapons, and have their buffer. That's it. And it's funny because Zelensky's really like, but I'd like to talk, though. And I'm sure you would, because we're about 4 seconds away from busting down your door. Like, I don't even think Zelensky can go home anymore. We'll see how that plays out. U.S. patriots are struggling, they say, against Russian weaponry. Again, this is a Russian tabloid. But they say that Ukraine's going to move, and it's not because patriots don't work. It's because there's just nobody wants to give up their patriots. What they're willing to give up is this Franco-Italian joint venture, Eurosam. They've been making this better upgraded SAMP/T missile system. You know how you've never heard of that? Yeah, that missile system that's better than the Patriot or THAAD system, you know, because you've heard of those. But SAMP/T, yeah, bet it's really good. But that's what Ukraine's going to be getting. It's got longer radar, maybe, and needs less troops to operate, which doesn't necessarily make it better, by the way. I can't believe we need 90 troops to operate a full battery. That seems like a lot, by the way. I don't know if anyone can verify that. That seems like really high. To operate one battery of Patriot missiles, you need 90 troops? Good God. That seems inefficient. A new fear has been unlocked by everybody, by the way, and it's the Chinese AI robot thing. They're really far ahead on the robot side. They're literally making AI robots that don't have that primary do no evil to humans rule because they're specifically being made for warfare. What is going to happen is it's going to end up attacking their own people in some way, shape, or form. It will be very sad. And yeah, not having that program nailed down. I mean, yeah, we'll see. There's obviously got to be a kill switch in some way, and that's always going to be sort of that's the same thing as, you know, putting programming in there. But if AI ever does get smart enough, which I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. There's so much talk of stuff that's supposed to scare the hell out of you, and I just look, I'm like, is there anything you can do about it? Like this is what I asked myself, Dan, is there anything you can do about this? And it's like, nope. All right, then don't worry about it. It's probably just fear porn. Because honestly, I believe there's a source, single creator. There's God, there's Christ, there's whatever you want to call him, right? There is one God, and I know he's directly involved in my life. And I know he doesn't have me in some situation where I have zero power and I'm definitely going to get fucked. Like, I don't buy that. And I don't think there's anything I can do about it, right? So, again, it's just funny. There's certain things that are way outside our scope and are meant to just scare the shit out of us. And whether they're true or not is kind of almost irrelevant, frankly, right? Can't deal with it. It's too big. It's too big. Nearly 1,000 killed in clashes in Syria's south with 80,000 displaced. Again, this fight that's been going on, it is interesting. It seems all of a sudden now there's a ceasefire, thank God. Maybe they were just trying to take out the last couple bastions in Damascus, and maybe that's what that attack was for. I don't know. Israel's doing some weird stuff. I don't think the Druze are necessarily good. I do think they're kind of more of the Khazarian side of things, or, you know, their proper equivalents, right? I forget the specific kind of Jews, right? The Ashkenazi or whatever. I'm probably saying it wrong, but that whatever. I don't know. I don't know what these guys are, but it was. I talked about it a few days ago, and it's just factored in my brain as these guys are not necessarily the good guys. So we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. What we're being told and what's actually happening are very different things. U.S. ambassador to Israel is threatening visa retaliation over mistreatment of Christians, especially after they blew up that church. That's pretty not cool. But they're U.S. ambassador, he raised concerns with the Israeli government regarding delays in granting tourist visas to Christian groups. The issue came to light after Israel media published details of Huckabee's letter to the Interior Minister Moshe Arbel, followed by Arbel's official reply on July 18th. In his letter, Huckabee cautioned Israel authorities that the continued holdup could lead to serious diplomatic consequences. This is not the relationship Israel wants to have with its best partner and friend. It would be very unfortunate that our embassy would have to publicly announce throughout the United States that the state of Israel is no longer welcoming Christian organizations and their representatives, and is instead engaging in harassment and negative treatment towards organizations with long-standing relationships and positive involvement towards Zionism and friendship to the Jewish people and the state of Israel. Uh-oh. What's going on in Israel right now? Like, is the deep state part of Israel actually getting taken down? Maybe. Sure looks like it. Could be. Mossad chief pushes for U.S. assistance in removing Gazans to outside countries. Again, many would say that, I don't know, I've heard some weird stories about if Israel's even technically like real, or if it's, or a lot of people say we're under Israel, or some say Israel's under us or under the Queen. Probably more that. But yeah, asking for our assistance to remove people. They want money, basically. They want money. I'm curious how that's going to play out. I'm trying to get everybody out of Gaza, which they kind of sort of need to do if they're ever going to rebuild it and clean it up. But yeah, that's just a giant thing. So yeah, I mean, again, I think God's got a plan. I think we're working through it. Hundreds of migrants in taxpayer-funded hotels have been charged with rape and other crimes. That's what's happening out in England. You guys are starting to find out about a lot of the truth that's going on out there. At least 339 migrants housed in taxpayer-funded hotels have appeared before British magistrates so far this year, charged with offenses ranging from rape and robbery to assault to theft. These are a few of our favorite things. Yeah. Close to 1.5 million immigrants are receiving government welfare in the UK. Again, good job. You guys are starving over there yourselves, much like everywhere else. This insistence on pulling people into your country from other parts of the world for little to no reason. I mean, they say, oh, to protect them. Well, why don't we're talking millions of people being displaced, right? Let's just go in there and blow up these few guys that are bad. What, are you serious? That's way cheaper. Probably sounds way easier of a problem, too. This is insane. Just absorb millions and millions of people? No, that's a bad idea. That's a horrible idea. Welcome to the pain gang there. Europe, England. Pfizer COVID vaccine has been linked to some weird eye damages. This couple studies that they find, these findings indicated that 2 doses of the Pfizer vaccine resulted in thicker corneas, reduced endothelial cell counts, and increased variability in cell size. Although no immediate vision issue was reported, the researchers cautioned that persistent changes could lead to concealed swelling or blurred vision, especially in those with pre-existing eye conditions and prior corneal transplants. So the study showed corneal thickness rising from 528 to 542 micrometers, approximately a 2% increase. Endothelial cell density decrease from 2597 to 2378 cells per square millimeter. A lot of exciting stuff there, but ultimately that's an 8% drop. These are bad signs. These are bad values. So while these values generally remain within normal limits, they could be concerning for individuals with already compromised cell counts. So again, if you got eye issues, it might be something to keep in mind. I don't know what all, I'm sure there's stuff they can do for them. Endothelioma. They even talk about a lot of dry eye stuff too. I don't know if that was one thing my eye doctor, I kept seeing him, had like videos showing. I was like, a lot of people have dry eyes. Is that? And she's like, is that a thing? And she's like, yeah, you'd be surprised. I'm like, probably because all the medicines people are on. What the hell is this? Where is MyPillow? There you are. MyPillow.com/OTF. Again, having Mike on Wednesday, and so we're still getting a sweet deal. I don't know how long it's going to last, but take advantage of this. This MyPillow, my slippers, $39.98. It's not going to be any cheaper than that ever. Especially heading into Christmas. It will never, ever be lower than that. I promise you. Incredible. Until they finally go out of stock and then they're trying to blow them out, then maybe. But that'll be different. They've got this protect and spray too. $5. You spray it on these leather slippers. It'll keep them like looking good and lasting good. And you might even use it like if you got a leather couch or something like that as a way of protecting your couch at home from children or bad friends. Giza sheets, they're high thread count, really, really nice sheets. All sizes, $49.98. Normally king sizes, back when they were on sale at $67.98 for twins, their kings were $130. $49.98, all sizes, all colors. Highly recommend you check it out. If you don't have any Giza sheets, at least get one set. They're high thread count. They're really nice sheets. That's what I've got. They're wonderful, and they've got great colors. They're beautiful. Dog beds. It's basically a MyPillow for your dogs. That should be self-explanatory. I mean, like I've said before, and I guess I'm a little guilty in this, but if you actually love your dog, I mean, let's be honest. If you actually love your dog, they should have a MyPillow dog bed. I'm just saying. We've also got the $9.99 for the towels, the dish towels. Their regular bathroom towels are incredible as well. All the towels they make, it's just they're very absorbent. There's something about them. They're very soft. They just feel really good. They work very well. They do what a towel is supposed to do, which I've noticed the fancier towels don't actually do what they're supposed to do. They do. The MyPillow towels are amazing. Rev 7 energy, no calories, like 10 milligrams of salt. You can get a free 3-pack. All you got to do is pay for shipping and try it out. They're super good. The flavors, it's ridiculous. You'll try it. You'll be like, holy crap, there's nothing in this. You look at the can, you won't believe it. Yeah, it's weird. A lot of flavor. Personally favorite, I like the blue one. That blueberry citrus, that is delicious. Lemonade's the other one I bought the case of. This tastes just like a green Jolly Rancher, which probably has artificial flavors in it. Or colors, but this doesn't. No. We got the percale sheets. I don't know. I mean, spend the extra bucks, get the Giza. They're never going to be cheaper. All said, any size, any color, $29.88. You got kids and they don't want to mess up good sheets. That makes sense maybe for that. All the pillows, best pillow ever. Love this pillow. Starts at $17.98. You guys got to check it out. If you haven't actually got the pillow, this is why I fell in love with this company. And then I tried stuff and I just started falling in love with all the products. So they got some great stuff. Go to their clearance event too. They got all sorts of cool stuff in here. Let's check out some of it. Pillows, blankets, more slippers, the towels. Oh, the 2-pack hand towels, right? You can get stuff. The Christmas tree thing, still a good idea. Women's 2-piece cozy pajamas. Yeah, they got some good stuff in there. All sorts of pages. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. That's mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you have ever had. All right, we got beef prices hitting record numbers. It was funny. I was getting my teeth cleaned last week. I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. And the hygienist, Amber, if you're watching, she's a sweetheart. She's a lovely lady. She was like, I'm worried about the beef thing. And I hadn't really heard the beef thing. I saw the story. I was like, oh, this is probably what she's talking about. Apparently they've been shrinking the herd size, and we've had some droughts. And so because of a lot of that, there's been problems with the places where the cattle would typically feed themselves. It's gotten more expensive to feed them. All said, beef prices have gone up quite a bit. Again, when we see the way the weather's been, like the coasts have been somewhat below temperature, but right in the middle of the nation, certainly a lot of that cattle grazing land has been just stupid hot, right? So something's going on. They're messing with us, that's for sure. Let's see. We got Atlanta Postal Center audit shows $16.1 million in questioned cost. This is like a distribution center they created to try to help streamline and make things more efficient. They had over $8 million in unauthorized overtime. There was a bunch of that. Where was the actual numbers? Because it was like a bunch of it was I think if you don't take a lunch, you get fined overtime. And I think a bunch of it was that too. It was a separate number though. It was a separate number. It was like, good God, they're getting jacked all over the place. So anyway, they're getting looked into, but no wonder the stamps keep going up in cost. We can't seem to make things, happen efficiently. We suck in government. Government really just tends to ruin stuff. I'm sure Amtrak's a waste of money too. We've got to figure out how to make that better or private. Portnoy on arrogant Colbert's cancellation. He's like, what do you think was going to happen? This dude's been losing $40 million a year. Losing. Colbert was losing $40 million a year doing his stupid show. What was it? Late night show, right? Everyone's like up in arms. What are they firing him for? This is ridiculous. Because his show sucked. $40 million loss every year. What, should U.S. Aid be funding him? Maybe it used to. Maybe that's where some of that NPR money was going to, and that's why he just got fired. I say that tongue-in-cheek, but there's a part of me that's like, I bet part of his salary did come from that in some weird way. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Damn. Hate when I'm accidentally on it. Meta is not going to sign EU's code of practice for generative AI, says the executive there. They're going to start fining them. This was like they were trying to say, if you sign it early, we'll give you guys special treatment and all. And Europe is so hardcore right now going communist that it's being taken over by this group, this Ursula von der Leyen, who we're almost 100% sure is tied into the Rockefeller, Rothschild, whatever the hell. So she's like, direct descendant of Hitler, something stupid. I don't know, some weird thing where she's tied into something inappropriate. But this is, we get Europe's just failing. And they want to charge like insane amounts of money if they don't comply. And it's like, how about you just don't get Facebook? You can't just force American companies to just start paying you money because they didn't follow some arbitrary, stupid rule you have. It's like, how about we just don't do business there? I mean, it would suck for Facebook to have to live with that, but I think ultimately von der Leyen would have a harder time pulling that off, telling everybody in the entire European Union that you can't have Facebook anymore. Yeah, that's going to go over well. That's not going to cause rioting in the streets. Astronomer CEO Andy Byron, he resigns after the Coldplay Kiss scam. I don't know if you guys heard about this. I was going to ignore it, but it's kind of funny that, first off, he's part of a software group called Astronomer, which first I thought was hilarious because I'm like, I bet you didn't see this in the stars, did you? All said. He was the CEO of this company, married, and he was making out with the recently promoted vice president of HR of the same company. HR, making out with the CEO. Well done. Well done. Yeah, that's, and she probably has a sexual harassment lawsuit on her hands, and I don't know if they're just going to pay her out and get her fired, but she obviously shouldn't be there. And this dude's, yeah, he's quit. He supposedly was worth $1 billion, but many are saying it's $500 million because his wife's going to walk away with the other half. So there you go. That sucks for him. And finally, and I just think this is stupid. So construction for the new Titans Stadium, assuming Tennessee Titans, right? Yeah, Tennessee Titans Stadium. It's come to a screeching halt because someone found a noose. They're building a giant stadium, and it could just be a tie of some weird kind, but whatever. They found a noose, so they're going to halt the entire construction project, make everybody take some sort of sensitivity training, and then they'll go back to work. Sometimes I don't have words. Yeah, I know. It's hard for me to believe, too. I love you guys. We've got another great week. We're starting off. I can't wait to see what crazy shit happens now with this Tulsi Gabbard stuff. Oh, it's going to be so good. It's going to be delicious. I'll be there with you. I will admit, I'm going to have a couple days coming up here in the very, very near future where I'll miss shows during expected times, and I'll make a show when you wouldn't expect me to make one. Just to try to help make up for that a little bit. But I am just letting you guys know I've got a little special thing that I do once a year that's a lot of fun, and looking forward to it. So called a small vacation. But that said, I love you guys. And we are going to continue this discussion, this fight, this rippling of all this crazy stuff that's going on. Where we go one, we go all. It's on The Fringe with Dan Radio Style.